What's up, y'all? This is Rom coming back at you with yet another car video. Many men need to realize there are simply different social groups of women. And this is kind of a follow-up to what I talked about yesterday when I said Pookie and Ray Ray are invisible to many women. They ain't in the same social group. And yeah, I had quite a few detractors on that video, but none of them addressed what I said about social class. In fact, one guy said, yeah, they getting all the most beautiful women. I'm like, those women ain't the most beautiful? What planet you on? You know, and it's just like, but then I thought about it, right? Because it's not even just with that Pookie and Ray Ray thing, but when I talk about Chad and Tyrone or anything, or even the money piece, a lot of guys think, well, all women want this, all women want this. And so thought about it. I said, well, you know what? Well, it's two things with it. And I've talked about this several times. Many men simply haven't experienced that many women. There's a whole lot of guys talking, but if you say, well, how many women have you actually directly encountered? Not watched, like you sat down, you talked with them, you interacted, you found out what was on their particular mind. Or, and we won't get into the number of women that they might even had sex with, because contrary to popular, like there was a video I did said the average man only has been with 5 women sexually. Now I said there's plenty of studies, self-reported studies that have talked about that, but some guys didn't believe it. I don't believe that. But see, that's because they're looking at it from their particular world, their particular social group. And a lot of them just capping anyway, right? Because they know they ain't getting nothing like that. They know they ain't getting nothing like that. But the thing is, I really sat down and thought about it, because I was like, dude, how come they can't see the obvious? You know? But then it was like, that's their social group. Like, if anybody seriously think Pookie and Ray Ray, or somebody said for the white community, Duke and Ray. I'm going to start using that, Duke and Ray. Or whatever they use in the other communities, of getting all the women. They haven't been out much. In fact, I thought about that. There's a show on Starz Network called Run the World. Run the World. About these 3 upper middle class black women. Educated, bougie, and everything. And who they checking for. You know? Who they checking for. It's like, yeah, that's normal. That is very, very normal. Is it perfect? No, but they're going to check for a certain type of guy and everything. And I'm actually disappointed, because I had met an actress who was supposed to be in that series. I guess she'll be in the season finale. Met her back at the whatchamacallit, the Game King seminar. She was in another room doing something. And met her like kind of backstage. So I was actually checking it out more for that. I was like, damn, I ain't seen her on there yet. But the thing is, that's a perfect example. That's a perfect example. 2 different social groups. Oh, okay. About to see one of those accidents. But no, it's different social groups and everything. Different women going to behave in a different way. And, you know, it's not about like necessarily their biology. Because remember what I've said several times before. Attraction is biology filtered through culture. Culture is the big thing. And that's why I've talked about social classes so much. I've talked about it so much. And, you know, shout out Master Teacher BGS. He talked about the octane models. That's social class. That is social class right there. And then you talk about subcultures, everything. All of that makes a difference. Most women stay within their social group. But most men might not get it if they not outside their social group. Like somebody who's growing up in an environment with a bunch of Pookies and Ray Rays, well, they're going to think, of course, they're going to think they're getting all the women. But then if you're in an environment that don't have them, you're going to think, oh, okay, they get all the high status men, you know? And that's all the way around. That's a normal thing. Any sociologists confirm that. Any sociologist, they know that. And remember, Ron got some letters after his name. I can actually qualify to get a PhD in sociology. That's the important thing. You know? Taking several classes and shit. Like I said, a professional sociologist, they'd be like, yeah. Different classes, different behaviors, all of that. Because what's the root word of relationships anyway? Relate. Relate. Because even when people talk about hypergamy, the technical meaning is moving up in social class. But you only have a small amount of women who can do that. And they got to be the very extremely attractive ones. But how many women are like that? You're talking less than 1% of 1% of the women in the world really got that thing. Most women stay within their group. But that's another conversation. But see, a lot of guys, I'm seeing a lot of men, they haven't experienced that. In fact, most people will stay within whatever social group they start out in, they're gonna stay in. Most. Yeah, you get some people who can move up from maybe a poor environment to a rich environment. But how many people are truly rich? Once again, 1% of 1%. You know? And even then, changing the behavior or to match that of the class, that's hard as shit. That's why you get some of these pro athletes and entertainers who actually come from poor environments. Yeah, they got a whole lot of money, but their behavior hasn't changed from when they were living in a poor environment. That's why they get in so much trouble. That's why they deal with the same type of women. What the fuck is going on? Okay, once again, somebody speeding up. I'm like, I hope they ain't late for work. Whenever I see that, I say, damn, that pussy better be worth it. Driving like that shit. I'm like, damn. But anyway, the reality is it's just different types of women. Shoot, I use an example within the black community. Because, you got a bunch of guys on some stereotype, oh, they all pregnant and all of that. That tells me you ain't been around. Now, I use that example of Run the World. Those are some bougie women. But just this weekend, actually started today, it's something called BlurredCon, Black Nerd Con. I guarantee the women who going to call themselves nerdy and stuff will be there. They're going to be different from Keisha around the way. They're going to be different. Mindset, everything. How they talk, speech, intonation, everything. And then on Sunday, there's some in Baltimore, it's called Happy Nappy Day. And what you're going to get there, you're going to get a lot of black women in particular. They ain't going to have any weave or anything like that. They're going to wear their hair natural. And plus, it's going to be a strong, what people derisively call hoteps there. Hoteps, black nationalist types. So it's going to be, the conversation and the vibe would be totally different from a place where you got a bunch of bougie women. And that's in all races, all cultures, everything. You just got different people, you know? You might even have, you got some events, it might be like one of those alt things. Alt, people pierce stuff, tatted up, all of that. That's different, you know? Know a young lady, a white young lady, like I said, this ain't just a black thing. I know a white young lady, she work at a local restaurant. She real cool, always gives great service and everything. She is tatted up like crazy. And her baby father, her baby daddy, tatted up too. People stay in their lane. But the main thing is a lot of guys don't understand that because A, they not going out anyway. They got limited experience with women. They got limited experience with women any damn way. They haven't dealt with it. Because I explained my background. I've said several times. Started out part of my life in Anacostia, Southeast D.C. Even before moving back to D.C., lived in National City in San Diego. As a child, I actually got memories of it. Toddler and stuff. How people were carrying themselves around there. But then when I left Anacostia, started living with my grandmother and grandfather. That area had a bunch of combination of working class and young professionals. I saw the differences in behavior and how people treat it right away. And then going to Archbishop Carroll High School, private school, that's where I first got introduced to the behaviors of more upper class. We had both black upper middle class and white upper middle class kids there. So all the time you seeing something different. And then in college, seeing a variety, and then going to American University, graduate level, seeing a variety of people. In fact, I can drop some names of a couple guys I was real cool with. They let's just say their fathers' names are known immediately. In fact, I've Googled both of the guys. I ain't gonna get their names and stuff, but let's just say I Googled both of the guys and they doing something. They got names for themselves and shit. But shit, we had rich kids there. Once again, different personality. From all over the world. Knew this brother, he came from, he was from the Congo. That's when Mobutu was still in charge. He was on the good side of it. Now this dude, a freshman in college, a college freshman, his parents rented out a whole house for his ass. You know, his parents rented out a whole house for him. You go over his house, man, you had to take off your shoes. He had white carpet. He said, you gotta take your shoes off in here before you even step in the door. But you know, it was that money thing once again. It was that money thing. So that's an important consideration. But what I saw through all of that was just different groups of people. And then I said before, when I was working at the Department of Justice, Civil Rights Division, Disability Rights Section, that's when I really got interested in subcultures, because we had a few deaf workers. In fact, our best attorney, he was deaf and mute. But I got introduced to deaf culture, the deaf community. That's when I really started looking into subcultures. And you know, you start seeing the differences. Like, everyone got his own thing. And then you throw in stuff like religion. There's a big difference in dealing with someone who's Muslim versus somebody who's Orthodox Christian or Catholic, everything. All of those things come in there. But a lot of guys, I've had that experience dealing with them and dealing with just so many women, and not just on a sexual level, but just talking with them, knowing them, actually being in a position to actually watch their behavior, look who they get with, and then you start saying, oh, okay, that's what's up. That's why I said it's like, you know, because even when I make the statement about like women that getting with some Pookie, all women that checking out for Pookie and Ray Rays, which somebody else had pointed out because they saw it from their own experience. I don't just talk lightly. Shit. In fact, I would say if you doubt what I say, hey, if you know a sociologist, professional sociologist, have them talk. If you know somebody who's a profiler or something, somebody can really read body language, hey, have them check out the videos. And they don't need to. Like I said, a professional sociologist, social workers, they can tell you. It's right there. But let me bring this back around to the main thing. A lot of guys just don't have that experience. They don't have that experience. They haven't dealt with that many women. Like, they haven't dealt with enough women within their own social groups. So what they gonna know about some other women? And I mean, personally, you can't go by what you see on social media. Because I'm gonna tell you something interesting about social media. And that's something I peep. It really don't show a lot of different classes. It's a certain range that they even show on social media. It's a certain range. It's certain behaviors that they show that you're going to see. Those are going to go viral. Like a lot of negative shit that go viral. That's not like the different classes. And they ain't going to show. They'll have different groups, but it's like everything's fit into a narrative and everything. You know? Like the Chad and Tyrone narrative. You got a lot of guys, videos showing some woman going crazy over some Chad or something, which halfway could be acting anyway. But it's not showing what's happening in the real world. Even what women consider attractive, because that can be influenced by the culture. I always talk about my young friend. I gotta reach out to her. I gotta say, I always mention you. Say, you call my name wrong? No, dear. She's actually baby girl to me, so I'm like a father figure to her. But she was, I'll say, because I would joke with her, because I said she was like hardcore Christian, and I would mess with her on it. I would say, yeah, you're gonna get a boyfriend named Rasheen. And she'd be like, Mom, don't play around. She don't even want a Muslim name. Anything. Yeah, you gonna get that guy with those locks. No, she like clean cut, no tats. Man, that's what's attractive to her, because it influences it. Shoot, certain parts of the country, because you get some guys saying, well, you gotta be lean. It depends on what community you in. It depends on what community you in, where you dealing with the woman and everything. They ain't all the same. And this is the group thing. This ain't even saying the individual thing. But if somebody had real experience, they'd know that. If they had personal experience, they would know that. Like, I'm gonna tell you what, I know some dudes who like really support me, not just guys who think they close to Chad or Tyrone, but guys who know they look nothing like it, but they fucking like crazy. They know they getting something. They know they getting something, because they know what's up. And then you're dealing with different groups and everything. Hell, I can see that even where I'm living now. There's a big difference in, I noticed, because I was thinking about that this morning. Because y'all remember I used to live in a more modest apartment, but I said, hey, to get out of there. They was starting to let too many Section 8 people in. And nothing against them, but, you got all these people on the like steps of the place, smoking, talking all loud. Shit. I had to have an N-word moment with them one time to like calm them all down. But I said, man, I can't be staying around here. Be loud, talking, smoking, stepping over cigarette butts. I said, damn, they really let this place down. Contrast that behavior with what's over here. I was thinking about that. I was like, damn, these some clean-cut dudes. Shoot. Actually, some guys who people would actually call Chad over here. And more upper middle class young ladies and everything. I was like, shit. Because all of that comes in, because remember, it's all about culture. It's all about culture, what you're exposed to, where you're going to hang at. Because I always, like I said, even yesterday, I told the story once again about when I went to two different parties. One was a pool party that was more working class, had more actual pookies there. But the women, the best looking one there, the one who invited me, people probably on a scale would call her a 6. That was the best looking woman there, best shape, everything, And she was trying to move up. She was trying to upgrade. She was trying to level up. But then you got went to a more bougie party the next day, a hotel party, bunch of professionals there. The least attractive woman was a 7. The least attractive. Like, they look like a bunch of like Barbies up in there. In fact, I went to another one of those parties, bringing with some another one of those hotel parties, one of those upper middle class to upper class parties, hotel parties with a bunch of professionals. I brought a couple women with me, and both of them had a little bit of weight on them, which I would say, like, working class guys would go crazy over, even though they both had degrees. They were master teacher BGS will probably put them at like 89, maybe 87. All right. They were complaining because all the other women there look way better. Like, I would put both of these women, I give them a 5. They looking at these other women 7, 8 range. And it was just a total different vibe. They couldn't stand it. They couldn't stand it. These are two friends of mine. I say, yeah, I'm going to this party. Y'all want to come? All right. It's a different type. Who to go interact with and everything. But it come down to just knowing, just interacting. Because I know all this because I've interacted with different groups. I can do the levels easily. I'm used to it. I'm like very used to it. It's like, ain't nothing. Ain't nothing. So it's just like, hey, it is what it is. But a lot of guys just gotta get out, open their mind to different shit. You know? Open their mind. Because a sad reality is a lot of guys don't have that same experience. They don't have that same experience. Whatever class they start out in, they pretty much stay in. And that can get into a whole political discussion because despite the mythology of somebody moving up, most people won't. It's a mythology, y'all. Let me go a little political. You got a whole system set up to keep people in place. And in fact, I got a book at home, Caste. It's talking about the de facto caste system in America. De facto. Like, it's not official or anything, but if you really look at how education's set up, how the economy's set up, how everything's set up, people are pretty much stuck. Now, you ain't stopped from, like, the system itself is beautiful in a sense of if you work your way up, it don't stop you. It don't stop you if you do the right moves. But it sure as hell don't help you. It sure as hell, it don't help you. If you get there, hey, you welcomed. Hey. But if you check everything out, like what's taught in schools and stuff like that, like the education system, what you taught, what you're exposed to, where the jobs are at, place. It's a lot of little stuff. It ain't easy. So most people, wherever they start out at, they gonna stay there. That's why you got multiple generations of poor people. Multiple. Or if they on state assistance, that's like, it becomes a way of life. It's hard for somebody to get out of that. Or if the working class, even middle class. Most middle class people, just how they spend, their spending habits, what they prioritize, they stay right where they at. They stay right where they at because they maintain it. And yeah, of course you got some people, they move up or something, but like I said, that's rare. That's rare. And I don't mean just through like athletics or something. Shoot, that's halfway a lottery anyway. That's halfway a lottery. Damn, yeah. That's a lottery, but most people, you know, through their education, where they at, what even what city they live in. There's so many things that really works to stop, really to keep people in place. It is. But it's a genius thing. It's a genius because you can move up. You can actually move up. But it's going to be a rare thing. It's going to be a rare thing. You know, talent, everything. That's why I did a video a while ago. I was talking about the real 1%ers. The real 1% men. They were born into it, most of them. It's hard. Anybody telling you can get to that top level, oh, you just do this, this, and this. Nah, they scamming you. It's hard as shit. It is hard as fucking shit. It's so many things. That's a whole other conversation, really. But the thing is, still, you know, just understanding that there's just going to be different social groups, different subcultures, everything. And it's going to affect who the women going to want. But a guy would have to experience that. Or at least be open to it. At least be open to understand, no, everything ain't what it is in your little small world. You know, it ain't. It ain't even the same thing in different cities. You know? If you've been to different cities, spent some serious time in different cities, you're going to see there's a difference. Because there's so many. You got regional subcultures and everything. So it depends. It depends on where you at, what's going on, the people themselves. And shit, I can make it even deeper if you talk about personality structures and everything. Hell, you can halfway look at how, if you understand like people's personality structures, where they live, hell, you can halfway predict where you're going to vote. That's why you got some forces out there. They already know pretty much who's going to win the next election. They already know. Because they know how to look at the people's behavior and everything. So it's a lot to it. It's deeper. You know, personality structures, income, neighborhoods you live in. It's so many things, and a lot of guys they're not taking that into consideration. They think, you know, one, they barely interacting in their own social group, but then they think every other thing is like this. It's like, no, where have you been at? You know, yeah. Anybody who's truly set foot on a college campus, lived there, they could tell you, no, you got different groups here. Even there. You know. So, but anyway, though, I want y'all to really think about it. Like, seriously think about it. Don't come on here with some, like, one of the things I'm starting to dislike. I'm disliking it because you get some people, just because they haven't experienced it, they don't believe it. But have you done the studies? I'm waiting for some academics. If you're going to come on here with some stuff, come on here with some academic shit. You know, say, well, yeah, I'm a sociologist. This is what I seen wrong. Otherwise, opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one. But at least be able to back it up. You know? Yeah. But anyway, though, that's all I got for today, man. Y'all have a good weekend. Y'all know I don't do anything on the weekends. I'll get back with y'all later. Peace.